Good day everyone. In this video, I will be discussing the Unix account management. Let us first discuss the different terms that will be used in this topic for you to understand it better. First term, user, a particular individual who can log in, edit files, run programs, and otherwise make use of the system. Second, account are all the files, resources, and information belonging to one user. Third, username is an identifier that tells the computer who you are. Number 4, user identification number or UID is the system's way of identifying a user. 5, groups, a named collection of users who generally share a similar function. For example, being member of the same department or working on the same project. Number 6, group identification number or GID. It is the system's internal way of defining and identifying a group. Number 6, user information. Conventionally contains the user's full name and possibly the other job related information. Next, number 7, home directory. When the user logs in, this is their initial working directory and it is also the location where they will store their personal files. Number 8, login shell. The program used as the command interpreter for this user. Whenever the user logs in, this program is automatically started. Lastly, we have authentication, the process of providing your identity to a certain degree of confidence or trust. Let us give you first a short introduction about the Unix operating system. Unix is an operating system which was first developed in the 1960s and has been under constant development ever since. By operating system, we mean the suite of programs which make the computer work. It is a stable, multi-user, multitasking system for servers, desktops, and laptops. Unix system also has a graphical user interface or GUI similar to Microsoft Windows, which provides an easy to use environment. However, knowledge of Unix is required for operations which aren't covered by a graphical program or for when there is no Windows interface available. For example, in a telnet session. There are many different versions of Unix, although they share common similarities. The most popular variety of Unix are Sun, Solaris, GNU Linux, and Mac OS X. The Unix operating system is made up of three parts: the kernel, the shell, and the programs. Kernel of Unix is the hub of the operating system. It allocates time and memory to programs and handles the file store and communications in response to system calls. The shell, on the other hand, acts as an interface between the user and the kernel. When a user logs in, The login program checks the user and password and then starts another program called the shell. The shell is a command line interpreter or CLI. It interprets the commands the user types in and arranges for them to be carried out. The commands are themselves programs, which is the third part of the operating system. When they terminate, the shell gives the user another prompt. Let us now go to Unix usernames. We already defined username earlier, but to refresh your memory, username is an identifier. It tells the computer who you are. In contrast, a password is an authenticator. You use it to prove to the operating system that you are who you claim to be. A single person can have more than one Unix account on the same computer. In this case, each account would have its own username. Standard Unix usernames may be between 1 and 8 characters long, although many Unix systems today allow usernames that are longer. Within a single Unix computer, usernames must be unique. No two users can have the same one. If two people did have the same username on a single system, then they would really be sharing the same account. A username can be any sequence of characters you want, with some exceptions, of course, and does not necessarily correspond to a real person's name. The next topic is assigning a password for a user account in Unix. Now, I will be posting a video link on how to create and modify user accounts and passwords in Unix on the references so that you will have an actual idea how it was done. I will just give you an idea how it works on the Unix operating system. So first, we go to passwords for user accounts. Now, passwords are the simplest form of authentication. They are a secret that you share with the computer. When you log in, you type your password to prove to the computer that you are who you claim to be. The computer ensures that the password you type matches that account that you have specified. If it matches, you are allowed to proceed. No, Unix does not display your password as you type it. This gives you an extra protection if the transcript of your session is being logged or if somebody is watching over your shoulder as you type. A technique that is sometimes referred to as shoulder surfing. Now, the question is, why do we have to authenticate? Now, traditionally, desktop personal computers running the Windows or Macintosh operating system, handheld computers, and personal organizers did not require that users authenticate themselves before the computer provide the required information. The fact that these computers employed no passwords or other authentication techniques made them easier to use. Likewise, many of the research groups that originally developed the Unix operating system did not have passwords for individual users, often for the same reason that they should shield away from looks on desks and office doors. In these environments, trust, respect, and social convention were very powerful deterrents to information theft and destruction. When computer system required passwords, oftentimes many people share the same password. Unfortunately, the lack of authentication made these computers easier for many people to use. This included both the machine's primary user and anybody else who happened to be in the area. As these systems were connected to modems or external networks, the poor authentication practices had grown up in the closed environment became a point of vulnerability, especially when other systems base their trust on the authenticity of the identity determined locally. Now, vulnerabilities frequently led to successful attacks. There have been many cases in which a single, easily compromised account has endangered the security of an entire installation or network. In today's high network world, proper authentication of authorized users is a core requirement of any computer that is trusted with confidential information. The challenge that computer developers now faced is to produce systems that provide strong authentication while simultaneously providing ease of use. Now, there are two types of password restrictions in Unix: the maximum password lifetime and the minimum password lifetime. So the maximum password lifetime specifies how long a user can keep the same password before being forced to change it. So some of the softwares that we use today requires us to change our password every 1 month, sometimes every 2 months. So it depends on uh, the specified number of days before we change the passwords given by the administrator. Next is the minimum password lifetime. How long a user must keep a new password before being allowed to change it, the minimum password length, and some other related parameters. Now, when you create an account, sometimes you are given a default password which you need to uh, change in a given or specific time frame. For example, if you applied for an ATM card, you are given at least, if I'm not mistaken, at least 3 working days or 5 days or 1 week before before you the expiration of the default password expires. Next is entering password for user accounts. When you log in, you tell the computer who you are by trying or by typing username at the login prompt, the identification step. You then type your password in response to the password prompt to authenticate that you are who you claim to be. Now, Unix does not display your password when you typed it. If the password that you supply with your username corresponds to the password that is on file for the provided username, Unix logs you in and gives you full access to the user's files, commands, and devices. If the username and the password do not match, Unix does not log you in. We now go to changing passwords. Now you can change your password with the Unix password command or the PASSWD command. You will first be asked to type your old password, then a new one. By asking you to type your old password, first, password prevents somebody from walking up to a terminal that you left yourself logged into and then changing your password without your knowledge. Unix makes you type the new password twice. If the two passwords you type don't match, your password remains unchanged. This is a safety precaution. If you made a mistake, for example, typing the new password, and Unix only asks you once, then your password could be changed to some new value and you would have no way of knowing that value. Then after you have changed your password, try logging into your account with the new password to make sure that you've entered the new password properly. Ideally, you should do this without logging out. So you will have some recourse if you did not change your password properly. Let us now go to disabling and removing user accounts. Now, when removing or retiring a user from the system, there are several things that you might need to include, like change other passwords that the user knew, remove the user from any secondary groups, make a backup of the user's home directory and then delete it, change its ownership, more all or part of it, or leave it alone as appropriate. Now, these are some of so many things to consider when removing a user account. Next on the list of topics is the command line utilities. Now, depending on the size and dynamics of an organization, managing user accounts can either be a huge job or a seldom performed task. Most Unix and Linux systems provide both command line and graphical tools for managing accounts. In many cases, custom programs and web applications are needed to automate the process and provide the level of customization that differs between organizations. One shoe does not fit all when it comes to account management. So, a large system installation often have extra tasks that must be done to create or delete users beyond what the base Unix system requires. Thus, in such environments, the process is usually customized and automated by some carefully crafted scripts in either Unix shell, Perl, or Python. Some standard commands that do not exist or do exist to help with base Unix systems include user add, user mod, group mod, user del, and group del. We now go to our last topic on this video, which is directory service for user authentication. Now, directory assistance is a mechanism for customer to find information that they need quickly. Traditionally, human operators provided the interface between the user and the database. Directory assistance is not a means for customer to change their phone number, indicate whether their phone number should be listed or unlisted, or to obtain new telephone service. A computer based directory service, on the other hand, provides similar functionality. It is a database and means of accessing information within it. And that concludes this topic. Thank you for watching and listening.